Trying to finish up the brake lines on the Barracuda here today, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've got the hoses just mounted to the calipers. As you can see, I've got that socket in here that goes to the caliper mount, just to make sure I keep access to that and don't block it with this hose when I mount it permanently. But what I'm trying to do is figure out where to put these little tabs. So these hold the brake lines. You put the little clip in them when you put the hose through it. And with the length brake hose I have here, and trying to give it some slack so that you can remove the calipers to put new pads in and all, you know. I think what I'm going to go with is right here. I think I'm going to go with this slight upward angle, just to kind of keep from really binding the hose up. So I've got to get this tab welded right in here somewhere, maybe like this, so that the hose can go through here and get clipped to it. Then I'll have to cut these hard lines and reflare them so that they'll go into the hoses. I got the hard lines out of the way for now, since I kind of have an idea of where these tabs are going to go. And I went ahead and ground the paint off the housing right about where I'm going to weld these things. And now I just need to kind of give me a little mark of where to hold it while I weld it. So I'm just going to mock fit it back on this hose like this. Kind of put it somewhere about where I want it. And I'm probably just going to put a couple little marker marks to line it up with, roughly. Because it don't need to be perfect. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and get these welded on there. That way we can move on to the hard lines. Got the camera in a place where I can use both my hands here. So this is pretty much all I'm doing here. Just kind of a rough placement. I think something like that'll be just fine. I'll just put me a little line down here with my marker that I can line up with. I can hold the bracket there and weld it in place. Got the tabs welded on, and I've got the hard lines kind of mocked up in place. I cut the excess off of them already, but now what I'm going to do is start shaping them to just fit up in those tabs. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult. There's really not much to these rear lines now. Could have just got some line at the store and made them, I guess, but oh well, that's what I got. So I'm going to start bending that on both ends, and then we'll cut them to length and flare them. Okay, I just pulled the brake lines off and just ran them wild through the tabs here like that and made it a little bit easier. So it's really not much to do on this one. I'm just gonna pull it down while it's mounted into the T on the top of the housing. And just kind of pull it down and bend it by hand like that. And that right there is probably close enough to work right there. I'll mark it with a marker somewhere in here and cut it off and flare it. This side is almost too short. In fact, it's going to be kind of hard to bend by hand at the end like that. I think I'll bend it back here. That way I got room for the fitting too. I got to remember that. This side's a lot longer, so it's springier. Trying to get to catching this original tab on the housing, but I don't know if it is. This will hold it in place anyways if it doesn't. I think it's just gonna have to be like that. It'll be held in place on top of the housing over here on the left side. I think that's pretty good though. Let me mark that somewhere right in here. Alright, I'm gonna go cut those and put the fittings on. Here's my little line cutter. I'm just gonna put it on my little line there that I marked. and snug it down pretty decent. I never really know how tight to make them. I try not to go super tight at first because I don't want to fold the little blade over on that wheel. Then just work it back and forth and tighten it little by little until it comes off. I think this stainless line is a little harder to cut. There she goes. Alright, there it is. I'm going to do the other one real quick and then we'll work on flaring them. Here's my flare tool. It's a HFT 50 by SUR&R, I think. Same company that makes this cutter tool here. But I really don't use it very often, and every time I do, I kind of forget the process. But this is the body of it. You take this and you take one of these dies, which clamps over top of the line. I'll show you. It's split. And you have one side for DIN flares, and the other side is for the ones I'm doing, the standard ones with the kind of 45 degree on the back side of it for the fitting. So I just put my line in there, and you put it in this tool here. If I can get it, it's hard to do one-handed. It's got a little set screw in it. Basically like that. And the line will clamp inside of that, flush with the edge of that die, like that, inside of there. And then this tool here, it gets one of these fittings. So I'm doing a double flare, so I'll use this fitting first, and I'll use the angled fitting at the end. But basically this it has a quick release design on it, and it'll just pop inside of this tool here. And this tool goes in from here, and you just tighten it into the line and it'll flare it. I'll set it up here in a second, show it to you. So here it is all set up. We've got the die in there, I've got the line in it, kind of flush with the edge of the die, and this is the tool that does the flaring. It's got this little S-hook thing on it, and the flare fitting pops in here with a little quick release. I always have to crank down on this set screw right here, or that line I'll try to push out. So we'll see if that happens or not. I hope not. You just tighten this down until it gets stuck. There we go. And then you're supposed to just tighten this thing down until it meets that O-ring right there. I should have marked that line, see if it was pushing it out. Okay, I think that might be enough. Let me back this off and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so you can see it in there. I definitely gave it a little bubble to it, which it's supposed to. So I'm gonna pop this other fitting on the tool here, right there, to make the flare, and we'll see if it turns out good. And make sure it lines up good. Started with the longer line first, just in case I screw this up. I can cut it off and do it again, hopefully. Dang, it's tight. I really need to mount my vise. Alright, I think it's got to be pretty good if it's getting that tight. Let me pull it out of the tool and I'll show it to you. Here's a look at it, if I can get the focus. It came out pretty good, I think. Not bad. Here's the factory one, I guess, from Inline Tube. Definitely better looking. But I think that'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do the other line and we'll start putting them in the car. Got some paint on the brackets and touched them up so they look good and they won't rust. And I need to get those little clips in the hoses here. It'll go in there like that. And I gotta get this clip in here. Oops. There we are. Alright, I'm gonna get these started. I had to straighten these out to get them to fit in that die for that the flare tool, so that kind of sucks, but oh well. I gotta redo my bend here. Certainly seems like it's shorter for some reason. Okay, I got it. Man, I don't know how it became too short, but learn from me, I guess. Cut it a little extra long. Thought I marked it pretty good, but I ended up having to take that little kink out of it here. So now it's just bent like a freaking spaghetti noodle, but it works. Okay. Do not be too short, please. It's close. Pretty much perfect. Man, I gotta remember to cut these things longer next time. I really don't like doing brake lines, and I very seldom do them. Alright, there we go. Oh, crap. I guess I wasn't threaded in over here. Alright. There she is. Finished product. Looks pretty decent, I think. And I think with that hose length, they'll be serviceable. The calipers, that is. Okay, that's it for the brake system on this car. I didn't get a lot done, but I'm glad to get that off the checklist, so it's complete. That's all I'm going to get done today, I think. So thanks for watching.